Today we'll be talking about the most unsolved murder cases in the United States, JonBenet Ramsey. Today we'll be talking about who JonBenet is, what happened to her, and what was the outcome of her case. JonBenet was a 6-year-old beauty queen who was found dead in her family home in Boulder, Colorado on December 26, 1996. She lived with her family, John Ramsey, her father, Patsy Ramsey, her mother, and Burke Ramsey, her brother. Chief Steve Redfern has said that since her killing, detectives have followed 21,000 tips, letters, and emails connected to this case. They've also traveled to 19 states and interviewed over 1,000 people who are connected to this crime. This case will always be a top priority of the Boulder County Police Station, and detectives are still figuring out what happened to her 3 decades later. Now let's break down what happened on December 25th, 1996. At 10 p.m., the Ramseys returned home from a family Christmas party, and John had stated that he carried JonBenet's sleeping body to bed. At around 12 a.m., Melody Staton, a nearby neighbor, had reported a child screaming from the Ramsey residence, which the coroner had said that this is precisely the time the crime occurred, but could not determine quietly. Later on, an autopsy revealed undigested pineapple in JonBenet's system. He said that it was in her system 2 hours after the Christmas party, which contradicted their parents' claim that she went to sleep right after the party. At around 5:30 a.m., Patsy woke up to make a cup of coffee. She found a 2.5-page ransom note demanding $118,000 for JonBenet's safe return. At 5:52 a.m., Patsy called 911. At around 5:59, the first police officer arrives to the scene and performs a curiosity search, but no forced entry was shown. At around 1 p.m., Detective Linda Arndt requested that John searches the residence for anything they might have missed. At around 1:30, they found JonBenet's body in a small room in the basement covered in a blanket. At around 1:45, John carries JonBenet's body upstairs, which then contaminates the crime scene and ruins any potential evidence. JonBenet was found bludgeoned and strangled with a garment made out of a cord. She was also found with signs of sexual assault from an unknown male. People are still asking to this day who killed JonBenet Ramsey. Although the killer is still unknown, there are some suspects: Linda Hoffman-Puh, Michael Helgoff, Chris Wolf, and John Martgar. Although Burke isn't listed as a suspect, there is a nation theory that he accidentally dropped a flashlight on JonBenet's head while they were arguing on this night, and their family covered it up because they were wealthy enough. And they were already dealing and grieving over the loss of JonBenet and didn't want to lose their son along with their daughter. No one knows to this day what happened to JonBenet, and the case is still cold, but people are still determined to figure out what happened to this sweet, innocent girl. Thank you.